What is happening, guys? Happy Monday. That's not a misspeak. It is, in fact, Monday, and welcome to the Dynasty WarZone, the People's Dynasty podcast. On this week's show, we're going to be talking last-minute Dynasty moves you need to be making, and a move that I made 8 years ago and have never regretted it once since is my co-host. He is, in fact, the man of the hour and the man with the power, Jerry Sinclair, buddy, 1 week away. Well,
listen,
12 days.
I will take it. I got to watch a little bit of college football. You know, my brothers from Ames, Iowa played in one of the sloppiest, grossest games in Dublin, but at least it was some football. Spartan football starts this Friday. Oh, Randall, there is not much that can make a man smile like the beginning of football season after a long-awaited hell, which is what the offseason is. Now, we fill it with all sorts of the joys that we need to get us through all of this. But, brother, there is something about just that first weekend when it's just game on whatever channel you want to watch, games from start to finish, Thursdays, Sundays, Mondays, multiple on Monday. Oh, my God. Let's go.
Yeah, and I got to say the weather here in Indiana, and I was in Ohio over the weekend, but the weather is cooperating. I'm looking at the weather and check weather near you on the day this comes out. It could be scorching, hot, humid, sweating your nuts off, but in Indiana, the lows are in the 50s, the highs are in the 70s. Like it's feeling like fall.
Shorts and hoodie weather, brother.
Well, we call that in the Midwest, we call that false fall. You think it's fall, and then all of a sudden, about the 1st of September-ish, it'll all of a sudden get 94 degrees again, because that's what it does. It's going to circle back around. But football definitely in the air, and I was off. It's actually the first football game as we record on a Monday is 10 days away, because the Eagles will host the first Thursday night game of the year. You absolutely love to see it. It is the best time of the year. Well, listen, we don't normally do a lot of news, but with cuts and information that came out, I kind of want to get to it. But I did mention I was in Ohio over the weekend, Jerry. And do you know what is legal in Ohio besides weed? Because everywhere you go smells like weed in Ohio.
I mean, Michigan's the same, but I am guessing you are pandering to Fast Draft, my friend.
I am. Let's hear from the old Podfather.
You asked, we delivered a full best ball tournament on Fast Draft, but we do it the Fast Draft way, and it's called the Rabbit, because of course it is. 20-second time clock, 15 rounds. These drafts, they take 20 minutes. That's it. So you get a lot of new people coming in and playing, get a lot of best ball bros playing, exploitable ADPs, no rake. It is the best EV in all of fantasy. You should just go to fastdraft.app, use code FAST. You get a $50 deposit match. These things are a blast, and it's the best use of your funds in all of fantasy.
I will tell you this, that if as many people in Ohio are playing Fast Draft as smokes weed, these things are gonna fill up full. Now the new Rabbit does have a rake, but that was the one I was drafting. 15 rounds, 10 players, and a full draft takes about 20 minutes. 20 minutes. So like if you're on lunch and you're bored and you're tired of scrolling Instagram or YouTube or whatever, and you're looking for something to pass the time, a great way to do it, Fast Draft. Use the promo code WarZone, all one word, all caps. That'll get you a dollar for dollar match up to $50. You deposit 50, you get 50, and that gives you the chance to do a lot of drafting on Fast Draft. Now, Jerry, normally I find the good people bad tweets, but this is the People's Dynasty podcast. And when the people send you a bad tweet, you know what you got to do, Jer?
You got to listen.
Well, you got to read it on the air if you agree that it's bad. Now, you may disagree. This tweet was from August 19th, and this is another repeat offender. Funny how that works. Mm-hmm. It's Snoogs. I think that's how you say it. What the fuck's a Snoog?
Don't look at me.
Snoogs Fantasy HQ. And Snoog, if in all caps, if you can turn RJ Harvey into Quinshawn Judkins in Dynasty right now, ... do it. And this is clearly stirred the pot, as it has 414,000 engagements, which is good for old Snoog. He could use the $8 of Elon's money that he's going to get for that engagement. So tip of the cap. But Jerry, when old Snoog says turn RJ Harvey into Quinshawn Judkins, since your team Judkins, I'm going to you first.
Okay, been there, been down this train, Snoogs. I don't know what Snoogs is, for the record. I don't know what they were going for. But here's the thing. I love the sentiment, and I understand where you are coming from. But at this point, brother, and this is coming from me, one of our most viewed clips was me arguing that I like Quinshawn Judkins more than I like RJ Harvey. But at this point, where the value is, you got to get some juice. Because RJ Harvey is just simply more valuable than Quinshawn Judkins is in Dynasty right now. And maybe long-term that's not going to be the case. But if you are absolutely wanting to flip this man so you can get Quinshawn Judkins, get you some sprinkles on top. Get you a cherry on top. You don't need a straight up deal for this, because in no way, shape, or form in Dynasty on August 25th, 2025 is Quinshawn Judkins the same value as RJ Harvey. Hell no.
I have bad news for the Ohio State Buckeye Quinshawn Judkins truthers. You know who was way out ahead of this, Jerry? The minute that this happened. Who is the only unsigned rookie from the class of 2025?
Mr.
Quinshawn Judkins. And this, I'm reading this from NBCSports.com. The Browns appear uninterested in signing Judkins until they know whether and what extent he'll be disciplined as part of the league's investigation. Then it goes into that Judkins will push for guaranteed money, as most of the high second-round picks were given fully guaranteed contracts. And this is a thing to where it's in an NBCSports.com article. If Judkins and the Browns never reach an agreement, he would re-enter the draft in 2026. That's a highly unusual circumstance in the NFL, but this is a highly unusual situation. At this point, nothing can be ruled out. I'm telling you, if you're Cleveland and all of the bad press that you had with Deshaun Watson, and you're up against it, I'm telling you, if you can get out of the Quinshawn Judkins business, do. First of all, even if he plays, when will he play? Let's say he signs before week 1. You know the NFL is going to step in. What are they going to give him? We just saw what they, gave Rashee Rice. Is he still pending?
Yeah, he's pending. He's not going to be for the first month, but so we know that. But
yeah, he wanted to appeal because the league wanted to hit him with 8 to 10, and he thought that was too much. And then Jordan Addison got 3. So what's Judkins get? 6, 8, do 10? I mean,
yeah, he got to do something
there. So there's a chance where you don't even really get to use him this year. Now let's fast forward. Let's say he gets signed before week 1, 8-game suspension. Is that fair?
Yeah.
So now you're talking, the middle of November before you can use him? And what's the Browns' record going to be in the middle of November?
Not very good, my friend.
Oh, that's probably a little mean, but not very good. So why would you rush to get him back on the field?
You wouldn't.
You wouldn't. And we said this 2 weeks ago. We brought it back up last week. Go get Dylan Sampson. Nothing against Jerome Ford. He's just a guy. But they wouldn't have drafted Sampson and Judkins if they had any faith whatsoever in Jerome Ford. And I'm still not seeing this drumbeat in Dynasty to go get Sampson. Super talented guy. And as it relates to RJ Harvey, they being the Broncos cut Audric Estime today as of the recording of this show. So it's not only is it good for RJ Harvey, it's quasi good for J.K. Dobbins. I don't see how you could possibly get RJ Harvey for Quinshon Judkins.
You
It's
can't.
like, oh, hey, we're getting ready to start playing games and I need to score points, and I'll give you a guy who doesn't even have a contract for a guy in one of the better offenses in the league. That's why this is a good people, bad tweets. This is why Slashy identified it and sent it to me, Jerry. But I want to get to some other news, and I want to give these guys some advice, some last-minute things to do. And, we'll go with Uncle Dink. You know what? This is a classic, too. So I'm going to play this, and remember, this is with all due respect.
You take your top lip and connect it to your bottom lip, you will shut the fuck up. Sometimes shutting the fuck up is the best thing you can do.
Man, I wish I had that advice as a younger fella myself. So, Jerry, lot of news. A lot of news came out over the past week. Cuts, starting decisions. One that I actually have a story that we were both way ahead of. Who did I tell you to get as the starting quarterback in Indianapolis back in May?
Daniel Jones.
Who have you not been on since time immemorial, essentially?
Anthony Richardson.
And what do you know? What do you know? People who are shocked by this just do not pay attention. This is Trey Lance all over again. When Sam Darnold signed as the backup in San Francisco a couple of years ago, the writing was on the wall. They didn't want Trey Lance. It was obvious. And I continue to hear rumblings that Anthony Richardson could be on the trade block as soon as this week. Now, one of the teams, the Raiders, just traded for Kenny Pickett. But, Jerry, on top of feeling right, are you surprised by any of this?
Did they? I actually didn't see that.
Yeah, they traded Kenny Pickett. We'll cover that next.
Not that matters, but no, I'm not surprised. And honestly, there's probably going to be a point where I will try and just pick up Anthony Richardson when he's free and everybody hates him. But, just to hold on to him, like a scratch-off ticket, Randy. You buy the $1 scratch-offs, and you hope, you're assuming that you're throwing your money away. But there's a chance you can win $500. Maybe you hit the ground, you get $1,000. That's sort of what you're hoping with Anthony Richardson. You are assuming you're going to invest $1, you're going to throw that $1 away, but it's just the hope.
I'm telling you,
what if I did do this?
The time to get Anthony Richardson is not now.
No,
because your move is going to be transparent. It's going to be see-through. They will be able to know exactly what you're doing. What you want to do is you want to get Anthony Richardson as a throw-in a trade later in the season.
When he hasn't done a thing.
When he hasn't done any, out of sight, out of mind. Because when the Colts named him being Daniel Jones, when they named Daniel Jones the starter, they said it was for the season. This is no short leash. He is their quarterback. So, barring injury, which Daniel Jones has a history of injuries throughout his career, but you're hoping if you have Daniel Jones, which when we jumped on with Jamie and Kyle the other day on the Dynasty six-pack, he was tied. My most owned quarterbacks are Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, Daniel Jones. I just hit the Dynasty lottery, kind of. But that's why I have so much Daniel Jones. Just like I have a bunch of Sam Darnold. Just like I had a bunch of Baker Mayfield. I've actually got more Justin Fields than I've ever had. And I'm getting ready to have in about 2 to 3 months, I'm going to have more Anthony Richardson than I ever have. These guys that are drafted 4th overall, 6th overall, 3rd overall. In the case of Baker Mayfield, 1st overall. These GMs, and by the way, Baker and Sam, they're on their 4th team. So they continue to get chance after chance after chance. So if you happen to be a little deflated because you're sitting on some Anthony Richardson, just chill. Don't let a shark like me, let an asshole like me sneak in there and try to pick your pocket and get Anthony Richardson thrown in as a sweetener on a trade. Just be like, I've got so much invested in him. I would just rather, see if the good thing can happen. But yeah, that one, and from a non-quarterback perspective, I actually think it's really good for all of the Colts skill weapons, not named Alec Pierce. Because
100%.
Alec Pierce last year led the league in yards per reception because What AR say? AR is like 14 down there somewhere.
Yeah.
Which is odd that his go-to guy was Alec Pierce of all people. But I think Daniel Jones will be huge for Tyler Warren. I think he'll be huge for Pittman, Downs. And if you're looking for one of the 5 last-minute deals to make before the season starts, go get Adonai Mitchell. I'm telling you, dude, that guy is strong. And I'm going to make
relatively cheap too, Randy. I mean, you're not going to get – he's not going to cost you a ton. And honestly, the situation is sort of ripe for somebody else to step up. We've seen what Michael Pittman can do, and he's fine. You know what I mean? But I would love to see A.D. Mitchell take that step.
I am going to make a bold prediction, and that if the Colts have a sub 500 record by the NFL trade deadline, Michael Pittman could be on the move.
I like that.
Could be on the move. He's already on a second contract. I think he's in year 2 of his extension. So he only signed a 3 or a 4 year deal. It was a very short deal, and he's only 27. So he's going to want more money. Don't be surprised if he's not treated like a DK Metcalf. And if you watch Colts Twitter, and I've mentioned my love for Instagram and only following all 32 NFL teams, you saw Adonai Mitchell putting in work. Now, breaking news. I don't have a breaking news sounder. But yes, the Raiders. I mean, it's the best I got, Jerry.
It's better than what I was going to do. So it's
fine. It's like I don't know. People nowadays, breaking news is on your phone. That's where I found this shit. But the Raiders, their backup quarterback, Aiden O'Connell, broke his wrist in the final preseason game, which, no offense to Mr. O'Connell, Boilermaker, ties to the great state of Indiana, so boiler up. But better him than Geno, especially if you're heavily invested in Brock Bowers and that offense. But they needed a backup, and they went out and got Kenny Pickett from Cleveland. I think it solved a couple of problems. And before I throw it to Jerry to get his take on this, in the back of my mind as I sit here and say this is like, does the move of Kenny Pickett not only mean the Browns do not have to carry 4 quarterbacks now, but does that open up a roster spot for Quinshon Judkins? Jerry, what are your thoughts on the surface of Pickett to the Raiders? Probably not much there. He's just a backup.
Yep.
But what are your thoughts on Cleveland? Who do you think is the 2? Give me your thoughts, and how does that impact guys like Jerry Jeudy, David Njoku, Cedric Tillman, etc.?
I think they're all better suited to have Joe Flacco be the starter. And you couldn't keep 4, especially 1 extremely old guy and then 3 young guys who are unproven and honestly probably not starter worthy for any of them. So were you really going to keep 4? So that was always going to be a no from me. So that was a good move by Cleveland. Good job. Honestly, I have no idea who they want the second to be, because Shador looked like he was lost. And
can I jump in real quick?
Go ahead.
What do you think about the comments from guys like Unk? And for those of you that aren't, Jerry probably doesn't even know who Unk is, but Unk's Shannon Sharp.
Yeah.
TJ Hushmanzada and Chad Johnson saying it looked like the Browns coaching staff was setting him up to fail with the play calling. And then 4 of the 5 offensive linemen that he was playing behind did not make the roster. So this is a Yeti trucker cap. This is not a tinfoil cap. But if you were a conspiracy theorist like Unk and the former Bengals, Jerry, what are your thoughts there?
Which is fine. Like, I get it. But when you're running with the 3s on Cleveland, guess what? A lot of your players are not going to make it. But also the defense you were playing against was also the 3s. And you're taking 20-yard sacks. You're not reading the defense great. It was rough. But Dylan Gabriel has also not looked good. The future Cleveland Browns quarterback is not on the roster, which is why I don't want to heavily invest in any of them. If you want to take a shot for cheap and hope that you can profit real quick, day trader style, by all means have at it. But I don't think any of these guys are long-term.
What is the most you would pay in terms of picks or players? What is the most you would pay for Shador Sanders? I don't want anything to do with Dylan Gabriel. Oh, please, by all means, let me get less athletic Kyler Murray. How about no? How about no to less athletic Kyler Murray? He's 5'8". You know, I'm not saying that he's like super busy, but next week he's going to hula dance on the dash of my truck. All right, that's how small he is. But Jerry, what are you willing to give up in terms of picks or assets to go get Shedeur?
A third, but maybe. I mean that's just because a lot of leagues don't even have a fourth, and I'll take a shot on him because how often are you going to hit on a third? Not often. And I know we all have egos, and you all think because that one time you took Terry McLaurin or Puka Nakua or whatever that like you have a great hit rate on third round picks. No, you don't. Like you just don't. You can look at how many rookies come into the
About
league.
1 of
how many
5.
are success. Yeah, like how many are successful. Usually, you are just throwing those away. So that's why I would take a shot in the event that maybe dude does just put it together. Maybe the offense gets put together in a way that's very conducive for him. They want to at least take one more shot next year with just him. Sure, I'm cool with that.
If I think I'm going to finish in the final 4 of the league, like I'm a top 4 team.
Don't say second, Randy.
I'll 100% give you my second. You think thirds are bad? Go look at late seconds. We've done this exercise on this show.
They are.
And this is a quarterback. And again, I will continue to hold this theory. It's going to be 50-50 whether or not Shedeur long-term is the starter for Cleveland. But I will tell you, in that organization, especially if you're Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Browns, you want Shedeur to pop. You want him to buy you 2025, the back half, and then 2026. Why?
True.
Because he makes like $400,000.
Yeah.
And now for Jimmy Haslam, it's a sunk cost. He's already paid Deshaun Watson the big money. He's not getting that back. But from a managing the team on a day-to-day basis, they have to eat a large cap hit by getting rid of Deshaun Watson by cutting him. There is no better way. Forget a first-round rookie, which I know the kid from LSU, and there's some really good quarterbacks in this upcoming class. Maybe Arch Manning. I got an Arch Manning bit of news for you too. But one of my other 5 things to do is to go get Shedeur. Because Shedeur being successful makes cutting Watson so much easier. And I will give you a late second. I wouldn't give you an early second. Like I wouldn't give you especially 201 through 206. But yeah, I'll give you a late second as a contender, because as a contender, what if you have Matt Stafford on that contender? What if you have Geno Smith on that? Well, not only could you use points in the back half of this year, no pun intended when I say the word back, and Matthew Stafford in the same segment, but you're going to need to restock the cupboard. And I've swung and missed on guys like Wilt Levis. I've swung on guys on miss like Kenny Pickett. But you know what? These guys will continue to get opportunities. I do think Shedeur is a one and done. He's not an Anthony Richardson. He's not a guy that's going to get multiple chances. But he is a lottery ticket. I am willing to scratch. I think he's going to get a good chance to prove what he can and cannot do this year. And that was a big one. And another big one, Jerry, is it finally happened. The Commanders gave up and they extended my man Terry McLaurin. Now, I didn't feel too sorry for Terry because he was still going to make $16 million this year. Had already been paid 10 as part of his signing bonus. He was going to make cumulative almost $26 million this year. But you know what? He got the extension. He got 3 years. He got $96 million. Now, I've always been a fan of Terry McLaurin. He was a hit for the Dynasty WarZone. He was someone, speaking of third-round picks that hit, that was these guys right here. We were all over Scary Terry, and we crushed that pick here at the Dynasty WarZone. But from a going forward, he'll be 30 next month. He'll be 30 in September. But how do you feel about having Terry as like maybe your wide receiver 2 or 3 on a middle-of-the-road Dynasty roster?
If you're middle of the road, sure. Yeah, I mean, if you're a contender, he has to be your 3. You're talking about an old guy, Randy. I mean, 30 is not old in the realm of reality, but in the NFL terms, he is an old man. Giving him $90 million at 30 years old is wild. Now, I understand you want to pay the man because he has helped you through the hard times and you finally got into some good times and you want to reward him for that. But that is just bad football economics. I am happy as a dynasty owner because now I have more stability. It makes Jaden Daniels more stable. It makes Terry McLaurin stable as he gets older. So it's a good thing for me as a player of this game. But NFL terms, oh my God, that is just piss poor.
I disagree. This is what good teams do when they have a good rookie quarterback on a rookie deal. Because that rookie contract, now I mentioned how much the Browns would love for Sanders to pop on a 5th-round price tag, kind of like Brock Purdy with the 49ers. But that's what you do. You make him continue to be comfortable. What about Bill, Jerry? Let's pivot to Bill.
I don't give a crap about Bill. I just don't. I think he is a poor man's Brian Robinson. You are talking about a man who did not play college football last year, albeit that situation was shenanigans and he got screwed over. But this is a man that played one game against New Mexico as a member of a Power 4 conference when he transferred to Arizona. The year before that, he played for Arizona. The year before that, he played for Alabama State, I believe. You're talking about a dude who has played in exactly against one Power 4 defense in college football. And he got 50 yards against Texas A&M. You're talking about a dude that in his college career had 17 receptions for 7 yards. So I have a 7th-round running back who doesn't catch passes, has not played football in over a year, and when he did play football, he didn't play against big boys. And I am supposed to rely on him to help me and my dynasty teams that are composed of the elite players in the NFL. No, absolutely not. Randy, I don't want anything to do with him. I understand that he gained a better situation because Brian Robinson got traded away. I'm sorry. Austin Eckler is the person that you want in that backfield. And I know he's old. And I know that's not sexy. But you know who catches a ton of passes? Austin Eckler. You know who's been an elite running back in this league? Austin Eckler. You know what JCM has done? Ever? Nothing. He's been a mediocre Mountain West running back. Stop it. Stop it. People are going crazy. Give me a second and let me laugh in your face. Because that is the easiest profitability that I will ever have.
And I have my thoughts on Bill right after this.
If you play in Dynasty, you need Dynasty Deluxe, our premium package for Dynasty Leaguers. We rank over 300 players, updated every week, all year long. And there's a win now mode and a rebuild mode with superflex and tight end premium controls. And a Dynasty League sync where you can say, sync down all of my sleeper teams, all my FFPC teams. And then you can browse around your leagues for who has needs. And then you can use our trade finder to see what kinds of trades are happening in leagues that are similar to the one I want to do. Then you can analyze trades using our trade analyzer, which balances the lifetime value, which includes pick values out to like 2028. All of that plus the rookie guide, $25 value is included. So if you're just in one Dynasty League, Dynasty Deluxe is well worth it. And use your host's promo code, and you can bump up to All In and get $25 off.
All right. And for those of you watching on YouTube or Twitter X, you keep hitting me, hit the mute button and like coughing my brains out. I'm playing through one right now. A little bit of a cold, but I don't get it as it relates to Bill. Jacory, Krosky, Merritt. I do not get it. I do not get it. You know, what are you hoping for? You're hoping for James Robinson? You pull him up on Player Profiler. He's a less agile, less strong version of James Robinson. Now, James Robinson ran a 4.6. He runs a 4.5. Okay. And I was here for James Robinson. And I'm here for him. But people were posting on Twitter getting 27 firsts for this guy. Are you shitting me? You've got to be shitting me. I'm sorry, he's not even been named the starter. You know, is it Gonzalez or Rodriguez? The Chris, I always get him.
Carlos Rodriguez.
So you have him there. You have Austin Eckler, and for all of the people in like seasonal, you know, fast draft type drafts, for people who are excited about Christian McCaffrey as, you know, the bounce back season, what draft class was Christian McCaffrey drafted in?
2017.
So you're excited about Christian McCaffrey, who is in the 2017 class. How you feeling about Alvin Kamara? Feel pretty good, right? Pretty good.
Pretty good.
You know he's going to catch a ton of passes on a shitty team.
Yeah.
He's going to get you 12 PPR points a week just in receptions.
True.
Probably not going to get a lot of touchdowns, but he's going to do that. What class was he drafted
2017.
in? Oh, 2017. It's a good call. Nick Chubb going to be the starter, at least initially in Houston. Joe Mixon going to start the season on the pup. What class was Nick Chubb in?
I don't know. Probably
I tricked
around
you.
2017.
It's the 2018. That's what I was
Okay.
just. But Joe Mixon was 2017.
Yeah.
So was Austin Eckler. Guys. And you know what? He's not been any more or less hurt than Christian McCaffrey. I would say out of all those dudes, Alvin Kamara is the most durable.
True.
And we're just handing it to this guy. Need content. Fantasy people just need content. I saw this guy steamed up into the 7th round. The 7th round.
You know, this we forget that this happens every single year, Randy. Oh my God. Everybody was ready to anoint Carson Steele of the Kansas City Chiefs as the next great running back for Andy Reid. That boy didn't even play. He didn't do anything.
He's gone.
Kareem Hunt, I don't know. He probably got cut today, if I had to guess. Kareem Hunt was literally on his couch, and Andy was like, hey, man, I know we went through our stuff back in the day. Can I get you real quick? And he showed up, and he just dumped all over Carson Steele. And that's exactly who Bill is. That's exactly what Bill is. I'm sorry. I hope that you have gotten a first from him, because that is unbelievable. And it is something that person that did it will reflect on, and they will learn, and they will become better. This is their Hakeem Butler moment, Randy. You know, I have my Hakeem Butler moment where I obsessed over a player and I paid too much to acquire said player. And I have learned over the last decade about how stupid that move was. And these people will do that for Bill, because there's just simply no path to you profiting off of him. You need him to be James Robinson.
Yeah, well, you're wrong. I mean, there is path to profiting, because if
right now, once he starts playing though, you are shit out of luck.
You got him as a UDFA.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you can profit now.
Yes.
The moment this season comes and we see that he's not built for this league, you have already missed your opportunity.
Cash that ticket. What are you hanging your hat on? I'm using, if you signed up for Dynasty Deluxe, you'd have access to everything on PlayerProfiler. I'm looking at him right now. 5'10", it's a good height. 206 pounds. Okay, nothing special. He was drafted. He was the 29th pick of the 7th round. He's listed as playing at Arizona. How old is JCM, a.k.a. Bill? How old is Bill?
24.
He is 24 years old. College dominator rating. You know, dominator means a lot for running backs and wide receivers from college. What was his college dominator rating?
Couldn't tell you.
18%, 35th percentile. So he's a jag. He's a jag. He's just a guy. He's a guy. Will he be fine? Sure he will. Could he go in and carve out a nice role? Sure. Could he be between the 20s guy, you know, that pounds the ball? Sure. But you should be no more excited about him than you are Isaiah Pacheco or a bunch of guys.
How much are all those guys worth? Like you're essentially saying he could have the Brian Robinson role. And Which one of you was excited about Brian Robinson on your team? Crickets, tumbleweeds. Nobody was excited about him. I'm just saying. Like, I'm not saying that this man can't hit and I can't be wrong. 100%, absolutely. But 95 out of 100 times, you will profit if you sell him now. There are the Arian Fosters and the James Robinsons of the world. They happen. I mean, Kyron Williams to an extent. He wasn't as drafted as late. Alfred Morris, those kind of guys. Like, it happens for sure. But there's nothing about this guy's profile that suggests he is built this way. Like, you're talking about a guy that never played Power 4 football. He's 24 years old. He doesn't catch passes. And I need to start him in a playoff game against a guy who's starting Saquon Barkley or Breece Hall or something. Like, I can't see that being a situation. It seems more likely that I'm going to have him. He's going to sit on my bench and he's going to rot. And I'm good on that. And I'm a person that doesn't even care about second round picks, Randy. What do I say? If they fell out of my pocket, I wouldn't pick them up. I don't care about them. But that said, I would still rather have one of those than him.
I will ship Bill off for any 2026 or 2027 first. And normally I wouldn't be too in on the 2027s because it's more than a year away. But as touted as that class is going to be, I'm fine. I'll even send you a third or maybe even a second with Bill. Sure. You go right ahead. It's like having that it's like having that annoying kid in your family, and like you have to send him over to the neighbor's house with a cake. You just send him over with a cake, and hopefully they'll be like, okay, well, little Johnny, in this case, Bill's annoying, but you know what? At least they sent a nice bundt cake. So we'll let Bill come hang out. Don't try to be happier than happy. If you can get a first for a guy that you probably got in the depends on, again, Jerry mentioned it earlier, how many rounds of rookie picks your league does. You probably got as like a fourth, fifth, and more than likely an undrafted free agent. Go cash in that lottery ticket. Just go. Just go. Because he is just like so many other guys. And I'll tell you, a couple of guys who have had tremendous success. And some guys have avoided it, like Rachaad White. Rachaad White was not super highly drafted in rookie drafts when he came out. And you know what? He gave you a really good season.
Yep.
A really good season. I think it was like top 6, if I remember correctly, in 2023. And maybe at some point in his career, Bill does that. Maybe if you're lucky. I mean, what's the best case scenario? He's Kyron Williams?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
great. Which is great. And that makes my whole argument wrong if he does become that. I just think there is far more opportunities that he's not going to hit that level. Because if you can get a second right now, Randy, what is he going to have to do to be worth a first round pick? Like, he's going to have to get 1,100 yards or 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. And that's steep, man. That is steep.
I will wrap up the Bill talk with this. I'm fine with you holding because you believe in the opportunity. You like the offense. Fine. I will agree with you if you want to hold. I don't agree with you. I'd be selling. I would get rid of Bill because the pass catching back in this offense is Austin Eckler. And I will tell you right now, if Austin Eckler gets hurt, do not be surprised if they brought in someone else.
True. Real quick before we
sure,
move
please.
On, sorry, just one more point to add to this. Let's say he does do well, right? Like let's say he gets you 800 or 900 yards and he's the between the 20s guy, or he pounds a couple touchdowns in from the goal line or whatever. You're going to have to deal with free agency in the offseason. You're going to have to deal with the draft. Plus, you're still going to potentially have to deal with Austin Eckler there. You're sweating so many situations, and that's if it goes right.
And if you invest at what his current price is, like if you were the one on the other end of the Bill trades, it takes one injury. And this is exactly what happened to James Robinson. It takes one injury and all of that value, all of that good faith. Jerry, how quickly did fantasy and dynasty GMs turn their back on James Robinson the minute he got hurt?
Immediately.
All that goodwill of 2 RB1 seasons and a back. I think his rookie year, he was like RB5, if I remember correctly. Like he won me a bunch of money. I'll say that because we were early adopters on James Robinson as well. But there is no good faith. But now think about that with a guy like DeAndre Swift. He's getting steamed up right now. He hurdled over a guy the other day. When you're Quinshon Judkins is another guy. I'll tell you right now, if I can take Bill and go get Quinshon Judkins, I'm going to get Quinshon Judkins. Long term. Quinshon Judkins is not even 22 years old. He'll be 22 years old at the very end of the season. So do I think he ultimately signs with Cleveland? Sure, but I would be willing to take that risk. I could probably get Judkins in a pick. Can I get Judkins? And I'll send you Bill and a third for Judkins in a second. How would that look come next off season?
It hurts my soul knowing that there would be people that would
that's why we do this show. This is why we say these are 5 moves you have to make before the season starts. Jerry, let's move on. We've talked plenty about Bill, but what are your thoughts on the thumbnail guy? The thumbnail guy for this podcast is DJ Giddens. I'm telling you, for all the people who are out there chasing Bill, I would much rather be looking at getting Bashal Tootin. I'd much rather be getting Taj Brooks. I'd much rather be getting Jaden Blue. I'd much rather be getting DJ Giddens. Because why? All of those guys could have the exact, because like DJ Giddens is behind one guy, just like Bill's behind one guy. He's behind Austin Eckler. DJ Giddens is just behind Jonathan Taylor. And Jaden Blue is just behind Javonte Williams. And Taj Brooks is just behind Chase Brown. Those are the guys that I would rather be going out to get, Jerry. What are your thoughts?
And here's the difference, right? Let's look at what DJ Giddens did in college. Now, I'm just going to keep circling back to my Bill hatred because it's been such a polarizing thing. But DJ Giddens had a season where he had 30 receptions in a Power 4 conference. The next year, he had over 20 receptions with 200 yards. Like, he also had 1,200 yards rushing one season, 1,300 yards the next season. Like, he's done well, and he did it in a Power 4 conference. It was the Big 12. Sure. Still better than the Mountain West. So, I'm fine with that. Now, you know that I am a JT man. I love me some Jonathan Taylor. I would build a statue of him outside of my Ames house. But should anything go wrong, like you said, it is just him. And you know the offense is not going to go through Daniel Jones and or Anthony Richardson in the event that had to happen. Like, it would still function through Jonathan Taylor or his proxy, DJ Giddens.
I love JT. I mentioned at the top of the show, Fast Draft. I was in Ohio over the weekend. If you look at the Fast Draft Twitter handle, you'll see that they are pending legislation in Michigan and Indiana. You know who lives in Indiana? This guy, and I will be playing even more. One of my favorite builds from over the weekend in Cincinnati was a team where I had the Fast Draft's 10 team leagues, and I literally had the 110. So you get 110, 201, you get the 10th and 11th pick. I had 0.0 problems pushing the button on Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry. Let's go. Let's friggin' go. Now, he wasn't coming back to me in the third, and I am stoked to have that start. That being said, because Jonathan Taylor isn't Saquon Barkley, but Saquon Barkley had some really good years. Not his 2024 year, but he had some good years with Daniel Jones in his own right. And I think Saquon Barkley and JT are very similar. But, man, if anything happens to one of these guys, Jerry, now enough about my DJ Giddens man crush. It is what it is.
Which you do have.
I'm not denying it. What do you think about, Tootin and Brooks and Jaden Blue? Are you getting Ollie Gordon? I would be remiss if I did not bring up Ollie Gordon. Jerry, please give us a little something on Woody Marks, Taj Brooks. Again, Woody Marks is going to be in the mix with Dameon Pierce and Nick Chubb. But you know what Woody Marks does that those other two guys don't do as well? Catch passes. So anything on any of those guys, and then we'll transition to Ollie Gordon.
honestly, I like all of those guys except for Tootin. I'm really not in on the Tootin train. I get that he was fine at Virginia Tech. He was a good running back. I think Tank Bigsby and I think Travis Etienne are still good. And I still think they are going to get a vast majority of the work there. And I think Tootin is just a breather guy. If even that, if you want me to be honest. Honestly, you want me to do 5 last second dynasty moves, I'm going out and I'm getting Travis Etienne. And I know that hurts a lot of people's souls. Oh, we got tornado sirens going off in Ames. Welcome to Iowa, baby. But
Hey,
no,
listen. If I can play through a cold, you can play through a tornado.
I can go through.
It is what it is.
Tornado. I've seen the movie. I'll be fine. But yeah, I like Travis Etienne a lot. I feel like he is absolutely going to have a resurgent season. I know it was gross last year, but we got Liam Cohen. We got a lot of other pieces to keep the eyes away from him. So he's a guy that is really, really cheap in startups and honestly is probably worth like a second, which is sort of gross to me, but definitely a guy I like, which is why I don't really love Tootin as much. Woody Marks, you're going to have Joe Mixon on the pup for the first 4 weeks. Nick Chubb, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you know this, but he gets hurt pretty often. So, yes, absolutely taking a shot on him. I mean, easy peasy, Randy. And Ollie Gordon, I know, he ran a slow 40. I know he was RB1 in the class by the Debbie Darlings, and then this past season happened and Oklahoma State just fell off the mountain. But that situation is conducive for him. He's got an opportunity. I will take it. I'm with you.
Man, give me Ollie Gordon in a second, and I'll give you Bill.
Oh, God, in a millisecond.
It would be done. Speaking of young, he's 21 and a half. You know, it's going to be 2026 before he celebrates his 22nd birthday. Super young. You know, he's most comparable on Player Profiler to Tyler Algier. Not a horrible comp. And I pulled up Miami's depth chart. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Jalen Wright is facing a significant injury. Believe that came out today. That puts Ollie Gordon right behind Devon Achane, who hasn't really played this preseason due to a calf injury. Jerry, I mean, again, everybody's going out to get Bill, but he's in the same boat. He's still a guy away. He's a guy away. He is Austin Eckler away. Well, if Ollie Gordon is Devon Achane away, why can't we be as excited about him? Now, he's getting steamed up on social media, but man, these are the guys that absolutely make a difference because, again, this is not personal about Bill. He could be the nicest young fellow in the world. It's about his acquisition cost on my dynasty roster at this point. At this point.
And this is the thing about all of these guys, right? What is the acquisition cost? What is the trade probability? And can you profit from it? That's the problem with Bill right now, is the acquisition cost is very expensive. Yeah, you can trade him. It's just if you can profit, then it's worth it. And all of these guys, very cheap. And if you don't believe in them, the opportunity for you to flip them quickly is still there. Now, if you believe in them, like Randy likes himself some DJ Giddens, so he's unlikely to have DJ Giddens, and then he emerges as the running back when something happens to Jonathan Taylor. He's probably not going to flip him, right? Like he's probably going to ride him out because he trusts that he's going to have a role, and at some point you'll be able to flip him for greater good. But like, if you don't love the running back, in that situation arises, you go to the Jonathan Taylor owner. Hey, here's DJ Giddens. I'll take your second. Thank you, sir. Or here's a DJ Giddens in a second. Let me get your first back. Bop, bop, bop. You don't need your picks right now. You're trying to win, and you need Jonathan Taylor to come back. Here's a Band-Aid to help you out. You're welcome. Thank you. Boop. Moving along. It's easy. It's the easiest story in this whole game, and it happens every year.
And this tweet came out on August 23rd. And Jalen Wright will be out multiple weeks with an undisclosed leg injury per Mike McDaniel. If you're out multiple weeks in the NFL, you're actually out multiple months. If they say you're day to day, you're actually week to week. If they say you're week to week, then you're month to month. Welcome to the NFL. And Ollie Gordon is behind a guy, we talked about if Jonathan Taylor gets hurt. Devon Achane's already hurt. And calf injuries, that posterior chain, if you know, that posterior chain, that's the back half of the body. So
Gotcha.
like if you were to turn to a profile and like cut you in half, the side with your back, your butt, your hamstrings, your calves, that's your posterior chain. Anyway, that's enough. Jerry, you didn't know that.
No. Listen, if you want anatomy of a dog or a horse, then I can get Dr. Crawford in here and she can tell you. But until then, human anatomy, I've never helped her study that, so I can't help you.
No, you're good. But I will quote but what I was talking about with the posterior chain is that those injuries linger. Hamstrings, glute, calf, that hurts. And they don't magically get 100% overnight. But I'm going to quote Eric Bischoff. If you know, you know. And you're either better than or different than your competition. And one thing you can say about DJ Giddens and even Bill and Ollie Gordon, they're different than the guy in front of them. DJ Giddens, much more of a pass catcher. Not that Jonathan Taylor can't catch passes, but he's different than. I'm literally watching a highlight of Ollie Gordon literally run into the Lions defender at like full speed and knocks the guy back 3 yards. Devon Achane doesn't do that. He's one step make you miss, and that's not the same. But yeah, that was one of my other big takeaways. Jerry, did you have anything else that you wanted to bring up?
No,
hold on, real quick. I'm gonna give you a second.
Okay.
I want to shout out GoGo Jen in the YouTube chat.
That's true. He has been
our friend GoGo has kept the chat lit.
And Brandy's dying right now, so we're just gonna save it. Also, for the record, not a tornado outside. It's a warning. I Googled it while we were here, so I am not gonna be dying mid-show, which some of you will be very disappointed about that. But no, I wanted to talk about Travis Etienne because he's just somebody that I think can grow. And once the season starts, the acquisition cost is going to be through the roof. That's sort of the whole story of this entire show, right? Like, you don't feel great about anybody that we're talking about, but also there's a chance that they can grow. I was watching our man, Dan Williamson, Overhyped Sleeper on Twitter. He did a show and he was talking about somebody, I don't remember who it was, and he comped it as it's a player that you would want to wear a condom for. And you wouldn't want to not use protection. That's everybody on this show. Like, you're not raw dogging any of these guys. You're not extremely happy about any of it. You're definitely going to want to use a little bit of protection, use a little bit of caution for every single person that we are talking about today.
All right, we are at the end of the show, and I will hit you with some advice that we call her his aunt gave him as he went off to college. She was like, "Don't take a life, don't make a life." Now, Jerry came in with all of this condom talk and protection and blaming it on Dan Williamson. I will leave you at the end of the show on this. Don't follow the crowd. If everybody's on Bill, don't be on Bill. All right? Because there's no money to be made. You need our job, and that's why we bring up DJ Giddens. That's why we bring up Taj Brooks as often as we do, because we want to help you find the next Bill. So that if you get DJ Giddens and something happens and the right set of circumstances happens for him, the way that it did for Bill, then you profit. Because right now, chasing Bill does not get you profit. And I will also say this, and I meant to throw this in, go get Brian Robinson. They've already said he is the number 2. Sorry, Isaac Garindo, brother, you're assed out. If you have Brian Robinson, do not fall for the banana in the tailpipe that is someone trying to get him as a throw-in. That Shanahan offense eats running backs. Christian McCaffrey's 29 years old, and in real life terms, that's super young. In NFL terms, especially given his injury history, I want all of the Brian Robinson. I can literally see dynasty GMs that are currently, because if you want to go out and acquire some cheap, God bless. But if you're holding on to some Brian Robinson, I'm holding on to some Brian Robinson. I'm telling you, I can look in the crystal ball and I can see a world where week 14, 15, 16, 17, Brian Robinson's out there winning you the dough. And you know what? San Francisco has one of, if not the easiest schedule in the NFL. And if you're Kyle Shanahan and you're truly committed to keeping Christian McCaffrey healthy, you're not going to give him that ginormous Derrick Henry workload. There's one Derrick Henry, and that is a big son of a bitch. Christian McCaffrey ain't that, brothers and sisters. He ain't that. So Brian Robinson's probably going to get some run throughout the season. Still in on Brian Robinson. Couple of things I want to share. So me and my boy Dustin Royer, we had him on a couple of weeks ago. We are recording our first Dynasty Contractor episode this weekend. And the roster that I've picked to use, and we're going to get to as many of them as we can, as quick as we can. There was a pastor, man of the cloth. Maybe he was a Padre. I don't know. But I think it was Pastor Paul, if I remember correctly. That's the roster we're going to review. We'll get that uploaded onto our YouTube channel, the Dynasty Contractors, and then it will be on the Dynasty WarZone podcast feed. So if you're watching on Player Profiler or listening on Player Profiler, please go to either the Dynasty Contractors or the Dynasty WarZone in the case of audio and give us a subscribe. And then, Jerry, not that I was out, but, just when I said, hey, I'm doing one show this year, it's super good, I got really excited. And, I did this show with Dustin, right?
Yep.
And I've done 2 shows before. I've done 3 shows before, right?
Yeah, psychopath.
Well, looks like we're doing 3 shows again. I am going to be doing a reoccurring Friday afternoon live stream with Johnny Tuma and Evan Ringler from Player Profiler. I'm not going to give the premise away yet. I'm not even sure I'm supposed to be talking about it, but you know me, I just, this is what I have to remind them. Jerry knows this.
You asked for forgiveness long before you asked for permission, brother.
Well, I'm also of the opinion that 3 guys can keep a secret if 2 of them are dead. And we're not there yet. But, we're going to be doing a new show. It's going to be on Friday afternoons, and it's going to be a seasonal premise. Now, Johnny also does some Dynasty content, and I feel like a real shitbag for not having Johnny on the pod. We're going to rectify that very quickly. But be on the lookout of that starting in the regular season. I believe the first show is a week from this Friday. Be on the lookout. This is why you subscribe to Player Profiler. You turn the notifications on because we're going to save time at the back end of this show to help answer start-sit questions. It's going to be really fun and interactive. So my wife is going to be thrilled. She's like, empty nester life. I know Lee Corso retired, but not so fast, my friend. We're going to be doing big things, but I am super excited to be doing this, and I just love this damn game. Season's here. Dynasty's still fun. We don't know what night we're moving to. We're going to do a big blowout. We're going to do our seasonal hot takes this coming Sunday. We're not going to have a good people bad tweets. We're going to get right in. I'm going to say I'm going to be as dry as Jocko. If you've ever listened to Jocko's podcast, it's always good evening, Echo. It's always good evening, Jocko. That's going to be the intro you guys get with Jerry on Sunday. It's good evening, Jerry. And we go right into the hot takes because we'll have a lot of them. I'll try to get some of our buddies from Player Profiler to send us their hot takes. And, dude, it's going to be a big season, man. It is here. It is here. For those of you still doing your redraft, Dynasty Player Profiler still has, tools available on their website. Jerry texts me and is like, hey, I need to log in for Player Profiler. And I was like, why? And he's like, well, Jerry works in the hospitality industry. And he literally printed off and gave these ladies and gentlemen Player Profiler rankings with pins and everything. First of all, you are a tremendous host there at your place of business. And
listen.
Hold on. That's the equivalent of going over to the bar, grabbing that bottle of Welliver's or what's that? Blanton's. That's literally like going over and grabbing the Blanton's, that little horse on top of the bottle, and giving those guys complimentary shots of Blanton's when you give them the Player Profiler seasonal redraft rankings, Jerry.
Listen,
that's what you did.
I mean, when you work in hospitality, which I do, which is fine most of the time, sometimes it's horrible, but when you're a guy that has a Dynasty Fantasy Football podcast and then you also are hosting fantasy football drafts, that's just both of my worlds just colliding at full force. And so we hook up their laptops and stuff to our TVs so it can have the draft board, blah, blah, blah. So I'm staring, right? Like this is my porn. Like this is what I do. When I see that sleeper screen pop up and it's got the draft board, even if I'm not involved, like I'm involved. So yeah, I wanted to log in. I got them stuff, I didn't mention anything about the show or anything. I was like, hey guys, like I also, I have quite a few fantasy drafts. Here's some stuff just in case, any of you are not as knowledgeable. And some of them were not. Some of them had played and obviously were, degens. But other ones, they were people and they were just happy to be there and they were enjoying their good time. But also, we did just have Blanton's. And to the bartender who sold the last shot, we gave them the little horse guy on top. That's sort of the little thing we do.
There's a poker YouTube channel that I watch that his card protector is the little horse from the top of a Blanton's bottle. Looks like he cut the cork off of it. Mm-hmm. For those of you that don't know whiskey, Blanton's is good stuff. I got introduced to it a couple of years ago in Vegas with my boss and one of my coworkers. And then Paul, I knew it. Paul is in the chat. Pastor Paul. We're going to review his team. He says he's got a couple for us. Paul, whichever one that needs the most help, brother. If you were going to get, complimentary help from some contractors and you had electrical issues or plumbing issues, you would want to go with the one that if you had two rental properties, I guess you would say you would want to get the complimentary help on the one that needed the most work. So send that to us. Plus, let's be honest, I could use friends on that side of the aisle. But Jerry, thank you for helping me get through this show. I didn't think I was going to make it with the cough and everything. And thank you to everybody. The number of people watching, just cannot thank you guys enough. I never expect this many when we're live on a Monday because it's not our normal time. But to have this many on a Monday, we appreciate your support. We are all here. We are all in this together. I'm going to answer one last question on the way out because I'm that guy. Yeah. And Franz, is the rookie quarterback for the Colts, Riley Leonard, worth a stash? 100%.
Yeah,
100%. I thought the kid had a little bit of moxie to him. I don't know that he's an NFL starter, but then again, you would have asked me like 4 years ago, I would have said that Brock Purdy was an NFL starter. We get a lot right here at the Dynasty WarZone. We don't get them all right. Nobody does. But thank you to all of you guys who watched. Thank you for you guys that commented so much, especially Go Jen. Tons of comments tonight. We'll be back on Sunday, even though it's a holiday. Me and Jerry earning that holiday pay so that you guys can win your leagues. Thank you so much for joining us. And on behalf of Jerry, my name is Memphis. You can follow me at DWZ Memphis. You can follow him at JerrySinDWZ. We'll be back next week with some scolding hot takes.
Hey, I want to thank you for being part of this broadcast. If you have any thoughts on it, leave a comment. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more shows on the Player Profiler channel, subscribe to it. That's how we know you want more.